Today, we're going to show you how to fast-track your app development with Firebase.
Oh, man, I'm pumped. I'm so excited.
So am I. Let's get started.
Are you all excited? So at I/O 2026, we are focused on helping you build and scale with more ease, speed, and flexibility than ever before. Whether you're building your next viral mobile app or website, and regardless who's writing the code, agents or humans, we want to make sure that Firebase gives you all the tools and services you need for client development and seamless access to all the power of Google Cloud. This year, we are excited to continue making highly scalable services such as Firestore, Cloud SQL, and Agent Platform easy to integrate to your apps, and with services like Firebase phone number verification, more secure. Raise your hand if you ever use Firebase NoSQL solution. Great, great. Raise your hand if you ever use Firebase SQL solution. All right. Raise your hand if you knew that Firebase had a SQL solution. Arthur, come on, man.
I mean, even I sometimes forget that we have a SQL solution. It's like finding a $20 bill in my jeans when I wash.
And after this session, it's going to be like finding the whole ATM on your jeans. So a year ago, we announced general availability for Firebase Data Connect, Firebase SQL solution powered by Cloud SQL. This year, we're evolving Data Connect into Firebase SQL Connect. Firebase SQL Connect packs all the features you love from Data Connect, such as serverless secure access to Cloud SQL, as well as strongly typed auto-generated SDKs, plus a few more things I want to share with you. The first thing is custom resolvers. Custom resolvers lets you expand the data sources available to SQL Connect on top of Cloud SQL. With that, you can use the data from those data sources in queries and mutations. Offline. Offline cache lets your applications continue to be responsive, either in no or low connectivity situations. Native SQL support. Now you can use the full expressiveness of SQL to write your queries and mutations. And with that, get full access to all Postgres extensions. And last but not least, real time.
Woo!
Come on. With real-time sync, you can turn your relational data into live app features. Why don't we see this in action? Let's go to the laptop. All right. So here I have an application we developed. It's like emoji exchange. Think of it as a stock exchange where you can buy and sell emojis. Emojis, no ETF. ETF is really 2020. And the dynamics are similar, right? If I buy emojis, the prices go up. If I sell emojis, the prices go down. Here I have two instances of the app. On the left, I have my personal profile. On the right, I have my work profile, and I'm logged into both as two different users. So the first thing I'm going to do is that, let's say I'm going to buy a tree emoji, right? So I buy a tree emoji. Nothing really happens, right? But when I refresh the screen, I see that the price of the tree went up. You know, someone bought a tree, the price went up. Nothing happened on the right. I have to refresh my screen to see the price increase. Why don't we fix this with a little bit of Firebase magic and SQL Connect real time? So right now, the way this is working is that this dashboard, for this dashboard, I'm subscribed to a query, a SQL Connect query, that's called gets dashboard data. And I'm using the execute query method that, for those that have been using SQL Connect or Data Connect for some time, knew existed. One of the changes we implemented, I'm going to command this method here. One of the first changes we implemented here is the availability of this new method called subscribe. So now, instead of executing a query, you can subscribe to a query. And what's going to happen is that this query is going to be cached on the server, and every time that query gets refreshed, for example, by human execution, the front end is going to get a stream, a signal, and it's going to refresh the screen. So I have autosave here. I'm going to refresh both sides to make sure that I have the latest JavaScript code. What I do here is I'm going to buy another tree, right? Nothing happened, but if I refresh the screen, I can see the prices changes. It's pretty magical. And the reason it changed is because I forced a refresh as a human. Pretty cool, right? Yeah. We can make it a little bit better, or a lot better. Another thing we introduced in SQL Connect this year is the refresh directive. So now I can tell this query, which is called get dashboard data, to automatically refresh every time a mutation happens. So for example, every time someone buys stocks or sells stocks. So I'm going to make this change, and I'm going to deploy the production. What this is doing is literally scanning my database, compiling the queries, making sure that the schema is correctly structured, making sure that my queries are correctly structured, making sure that there are no schema changes, that it has to automatically push to the SQL database. So this is going to take a few more seconds. Give it one more second. It's almost there. There you go. So I'm going to go back to my app. I'm going to refresh on both sides. And now I'm going to buy a coffee. So buy another one. There you go. Woo! Pretty magical, right? Very, very cool. Another feature I wanted to show you is, as I said, now you can write SQL queries. Now you can use the full expressiveness of SQL. So we developed this screen that does geolocation. So basically, based on coordinates, it shows me on a map where people are buying emojis. So imagine having to write this using either like manual GraphQL or having to use extensions to do this. What you now can do is just write this using SQL. And using, for example, the GIS PostgreSQL extension. As you can see there, I can pass to the extension. I'm using the Postgres GIS extension. I'm just passing longitude and latitude and doing a search based on that. So imagine the power of this now that you can write SQL and you can use any extension available in the Postgres ecosystem. The last thing I wanted to show you is this capability. So for example, for a particular emoji, I like the fire emoji. I'm a little bit biased. I want to be able to show some more complex metrics, right? So I have the live price of the emoji coming from my SQL database, but I want to show pre-computed, metrics that have been pre-computed. Does any service come to mind that is more suitable to do pre-computed metrics than SQL? How about BigQuery, right? So what if I could combine data from SQL to BigQuery through Data Connect? Well, now you can do that through custom resolvers. What custom resolvers is going to do is we give you a method that you can run, which is Firebase init Data Connect Resolver. We need to rename that to SQL Connect Resolver. And that's going to generate a few things for you. The first thing it's going to generate is a base schema. Here in this base schema, you're going to define what the data, the input and the output for that custom resolver is going to look like. The second thing it's going to generate for you is going to stub out something in a Cloud Function. So for example, here, you can see how through a Cloud Function, I'm directly calling into BigQuery through the BigQuery Cloud SDK. So now imagine the power of this, right? Because I'm executing this in a Cloud Function, and I'm using the SDK, but you could be calling whatever API you want, right? Whatever cloud service you want, whatever API you want, either part of Google Cloud or a third party. And the last thing I do here is just use that on a query. So I have this get emoji analytics that it's basically calling to my custom resolver, passing the emoji as a parameter. And within this query, I have data coming from SQL, as well as data now coming from my custom resolver, it's calling BigQuery. Pretty powerful, right? All right, we can go back to the slides now.
I'm ready to buy a few emojis myself. And I've seen this talk before. I think there are even more database updates.
There are a few more I want to share with you. So when sometimes SQL is the best solution for you to build your app, sometimes NoSQL gives everything you need and is the right solution, right? For that, we continue evolving Firestore, particularly in its enterprise edition. We recently went GA with query pipelines. With query pipelines, we completely reimagined our query engine to help you write applications more efficiently. And today, there are a few more things I want to share with you. The first one is data manipulation language, or DML. DML condenses the number of steps you need to write changes to your pipeline. For example, if a user leaves your application, you can delete all the user-generated content with just one pipeline query. The second one is subqueries. Subqueries give you the ability to combine multiple documents and filters within one query, unlocking complex querying scenarios, like, for example, in this case, grabbing all the reviews from a collection for a particular book and inserting the data into the book's collection. Subqueries can be used for both querying data and modifying and inserting data. GeoSearch. With GeoSearch, now within Firestore, you can use geofields, like longitude, latitude, and distance for sort and searching. And last but not least, is here, folks. Come on, give it a round of applause. You've been waiting for this one. I'm excited to share that Firestore Enterprise now supports full-text search natively. Full-text search lets you search through your collections and documents for things such as exact words, phrases, or semantic matches. Now, you don't need an extension or a third-party service anymore. Very, very exciting.
So much database goodness. These features will accelerate the way humans and agents develop. Firebase also helps you bring AI experiences to your users. Firebase AI logic helps you bring the power of generative AI to your users without any server-side setup. Raise your hands if you've ever thought of adding an AI feature to an app that you have. Doing these features can be very engaging. However, doing it correctly is non-trivial. And Firebase streamlines the process of adding AI features to your app and allows you to use the languages that you're familiar with, like Java, Kotlin, Swift, Flutter, Android, and others.
Yeah, next slide. There you go.
Gemini models are truly multimodal. It's a huge value prop for Gemini. They accept multimodal input, and they support multimodal output. And Firebase AI logic supports them both. It enables delightful experiences for your users, making it simple to implement things like chat, image generation, with advanced model features like tool use and function calling. They also support streaming input and output. Protecting your Gemini resources from abuse is a key value proposition for using Firebase AI logic when implementing AI features in your app. Server prompt templates help protect your prompts from being exposed on the client side. Integrations with Firebase AI logic help prevent non-app access to your models, and built-in user rate limits prevent a few users from abusing your app's AI quota. Gemini models have continued to advance, and Firebase AI Logic has expanded its capabilities to ensure that your apps can take full advantage of what Gemini has to offer. At I/O, Firebase AI Logic is rolling out a series of updates that improve model support, provide even more security for your AI features, and greater efficiency for the AI features in your app. Firebase AI Logic now supports the latest Gemini 3 GA models. We've added support for Google Maps grounding, allowing Gemini models to connect with geospatial data from Google Maps and build location-aware AI features. Nano Banana image generation controls are also available from AI Logic. This brings programmatic control over aspect ratios and image sizes. We're also exposing finish reasons. So image generation, when it completes, whether it's a failure or a success, you can handle that within your app. Firebase AI Logic continues to emphasize the security of your AI resources. At I/O, we're launching one-time tokens to help prevent malicious actors from capturing and replaying tokens to drain your app's AI quota. Template-only mode limits AI logic to only execute prompts that are stored on the server, ignoring custom prompts that come from the client side. You can also restrict your AI logic calls to authentication-only mode, limiting your AI logic executions to only calls with valid Firebase authentication tokens. And my personal favorite, local and hybrid inference across iOS, Chrome that's now generally available, and Android with Gemma 4 support. With Firebase AI Logic, you can implement AI features that run locally and can automatically fall back to the cloud when necessary. Who has to fill in any expense reports?
Man, I saw this morning struggling with a very faded piece of paper.
It was a very important sandwich. I needed to make note of it. But seriously, let's look at how we can use AI logic and a local model so that we can save some of our cloud quota for when we really need it. This code snippet is all that is needed to configure your app to prefer using an on-device model when available and fall back to a cloud-hosted model. So I have a receipt scanning demo app here. And given that receipts are pretty standard, we can use our local model and save our precious token, our precious cloud tokens. As you can see in the demo, the business name and the final total of the receipt are both extracted from the image without sending any of that data to the cloud. You can configure hybrid inference in several ways to correspond to the way you want your app to prioritize the use of on-device or cloud models. With Firebase AI Logic, the power of adding AI features to your app is yours. Woo! Yeah.
And with great power comes great responsibility. That's not my phrase, in case you wonder. So historically, enterprise customers have faced complexities when managing their Firebase deployment alongside the rest of their cloud infrastructure. To solve for this, we are introducing Firebase integration with Application Design Center. ADC offers a unified model for deploying and managing the resources used by your client apps alongside the rest of your cloud infrastructure. So for example, you can use ADC to deploy things such as AppCheck, Firestore, and authentication in the same way you manage the rest of your cloud services. ADC also seamlessly and natively integrates with Cloud Hub, App Hub, and Gemini Cloud Assist, and offers a myriad of AI-assisted tools to standardize best practices and deploy templates. You can start using Firebase in Application Design Center today.
Woo!
Do you have any Flutter developers in the room? I'm really excited about this one, really excited. So Firebase Dart and Flutter have always been a match made in heaven. You've been asking, we heard you, and today I'm happy to share the preview experimental release of Dart support for Cloud Functions in Firebase.
Woo!
For you, our love Flutter developers, there is no more context switching between your front-end and back-end code.
We love Flutter developers at Firebase, a match made in heaven.
Well, man, it's the only relationship in my life that lets me code over the weekends.
Another passion of Firebase is authentication. Most, if not all, apps need some type of authentication, and SMS is a popular option. SMS works, but we thought we could do better. So last year, we launched Firebase Phone Number Verification, a fast and secure way to verify users' phone numbers. Firebase Phone Number Verification, or FPNV for short, provides several benefits over SMS alone, starting with the fact that no SMS messages are sent, which eliminates SMS phishing attacks. FPNV works over any internet connection. So whether it's cellular, Wi-Fi, wired, or a hotspot, this allows you to access all of your connected users. Carriers are the source of truth. So your app can get the phone number directly from the carrier. You don't have to depend on anybody typing it in. And phone number verification can be used standalone or with an ID provider. Sometimes you just want a valid phone number, and other times you want the user to actually use that phone number to create an account and sign in. Phone number verification supports both scenarios. As of today, we have over 10 carriers on board, and we're expanding that all the time. We recently launched a brand new SIM-free testing mode to reduce friction when testing the Firebase phone number verification flow. And last but not least, phone number verification is now generally available. Woo! Since we're all traveling this week, I thought it would be helpful to demo reserving a table using FPNV. My demo concierge agent is built with Firebase AI logic, as you might expect, and uses FPNV to help me book a table at my fictional restaurants. Could we switch to the phone? Hi, I'm trying to book a table for dinner tonight. Can you help me?
I can certainly help with that. Do you have a particular restaurant in mind, or would you like to see what's available?
Let's see what's available.
These are our options. Do any of these sound good?
Sure, let's try Agave Algorithm.
Great choice. For a reservation at Agave Algorithm, what date, time, and party size would you like? And whose name should the reservation be under?
For the reservation, let's go with Seba, since he'll pay the bill. It's a party of 5, and we want to have dinner around 9:30 tonight.
Please check your screen for the phone verification pop-up. Once that's done, the booking is confirmed.
Woo!
Your booking is confirmed. Enjoy your dinner.
So that pop-up allowed me to approve that my app could send my phone number to the server side or to the restaurant. So when I get there, they will have my phone number, and I can verify my identity. Could we go back to the slides? Verifying your phone number only takes a few lines of code. Note the enable test session with the test token from the Firebase console. It allows you to test this flow, like I just did, without actually using a real SIM or a real phone number. I also want to thank Seba for volunteering to pay my fictional dinner bill tonight.
Let's make sure we save that receipt.
Sure. We could scan it. Let's talk about agents. Agents can do some remarkable things. Vibe-coded apps are amazing. I'm sure that many of you are vibe-coding apps. Maybe even some of you right now during this talk. Sometimes you want your vibe-coded app for a proof of concept or just as a demo. But other times, you want your vibe-coded app to stick around with real users and real persistent data. Let's see how Firebase can help you build full-stack apps with Google AI Studio. We recently announced that Firebase is natively integrated into Google AI Studio. With a single prompt, the Antigravity agent can proactively identify the need for Firebase integrations. The Antigravity agent, using an appropriate prompt from you, can identify the need for user-specific features and enable Firebase Auth, or the need for persistent data and enable Firestore, together with well-written security rules. Here's the prompt that I used to build my next viral application. It's going to be a crowdsourced emoji translation app. Here's the prompt. Create an emoji translation app that allows users to submit common phrases in prose, and other users submit emojis to best represent them. Users should be able to vote on their favorite translations. The app should be colorful and playful. As you can see, there's no reference to databases or authentication in this prompt. The Antigravity agent using this prompt recognized the need for both Firestore and Firebase Auth. And thus, I get this dialog to ask me to confirm the enabling of Firebase. After enabling Firebase, the Antigravity agent goes ahead and builds my translation app with Firebase integration. Users can sign in with Google. Their phrases, emoji translations, and votes are all stored in Firestore, aligned with their user IDs from Firebase authentication. The data is securely stored with strong security rules, written by the Antigravity agent. Starting today, AI Studio now has the ability to link to your Google Workspace so that users can use their data in their Google Sheets, Docs, Gmail, or Calendar in your app. Firebase authentication powers this integration flow with Google Sign-In and lets users securely grant access to their data for personalized features like document-to-slide translations or inbox triaging, or emojis that represent my calendar. As always, you can go to the Firebase console and view all the users of your app in Firebase Auth.
Arthur, thank you for bringing us up to speed with all the launches in AI Studio.
No problem. My pleasure. Could you give us a sneak peek of what else is coming to Firebase Studio?
It's like we had scripted this talk.
We did.
And the jokes. All right. So a quick follow-up. These are some follow-up features that are going to be coming to AI Studio in the upcoming months. So the first thing we're going to release is the ability to create real Android apps with Firebase services.
Woo!
The second feature we are adding is the capability of adding AI features to your Android apps using Firebase AI logic. And third but not least, every AI logic call is going to be protected by default using Firebase App Check to help you prevent any token abuse. Very cool, right? So make sure that you follow along. Make sure that you check our blog to make sure that you get the latest updates on what we are releasing for AI Studio. Now, if you want to use a fully featured IDE like Antigravity, Android Studio, or any other popular option, we got you covered as well. For Antigravity, Firebase is integrated in the onboarding flow. So you just need to check the box and Firebase agent skills are automatically installed. In Android Studio, Firebase skills are there by default. So if you ask your Android coding agent to add Firestore or Firebase Auth, it will take care of everything by itself, and you'll get a fully configured Firebase environment without leaving Android Studio. Pretty cool, right? And for the other options, for the other coding agents and RDEs you want to be using, you can either go to GitHub and grab our agent skills, or you just can npx and get them from the CLI. We want to make sure that your agents have all the skills necessary to build apps with Firebase, wherever and however you build, with less tokens and in less time. Today, I'm excited to announce that Firebase agent skills are now available for Android, iOS, web, and Flutter.
Woo!
And we are also expanding the service supported. Now Firebase agent skills support crash analytics and remote config as well. Let's give it up. Let's give it applause. As software development shifts towards agent execution guided by human creativity, our focus is to ensure Firebase is there with you in the new ways you build and in the new places you build, helping you bring all the power of Google Cloud to your apps and to your end users.
As we showed you today, we want to help you thrive with your development. If you want to learn more, check out the other Firebase-related sessions at I/O. And don't forget to check out our blog and code labs to get hands-on with all of the things that we launched and featured today. Thank you.